I think the offense did a nice job in that one inning. I mean, probably the best inning we've had all year offensively. And we had some hard hit balls outside of that inning. And certainly the extra run late helped. But from a pitching perspective, we just I think we scraped by a little bit. I think we could have been a little cleaner. But we got the job done.
Brad, Alex Wilson, I think just pitched a one-hitter tonight. Could part of that be maybe you're saving him for a potential spot start over the weekend?
No. I wouldn't read into that at all. He pitched a one-hitter because we needed that hitter out.
Brad, you did say before the game that a lot of us like to manage the bullpen for one game, and you manage the bullpen for games to come down the road. How disappointing is it to have to use Osorio when you guys are up 8-0?
Well, you don't want to. That's what I'm saying. I think we could have been a little bit cleaner from a pitching perspective. But we also needed this win, so it really didn't have a choice. It became a safe situation once the final walk in the eighth by Albuquerque. So don't want to. It was a little concerning in the ninth. His pitch count was getting up. He had 2 guys on and no out. Luckily, he induced the ground ball and kept his pitch count under 30 pitches, which is good for tomorrow.
Right, just in light of yesterday's pretty devastating loss, were you just kind of impressed with how this team responded today?
Yeah, I mean, the mood and attitude of the team is good every day. They're very good at putting yesterday behind them. We've had a couple very tough losses over the past couple of weeks. But for the most part, offensively, we've been pretty good, despite the fact that we don't have Miggy's bat. And today, obviously, that one inning, we were very good offensively.
Have you seen a growth in Castellanos?
I think he's kind of learned that at the major league level, it's a little bit more difficult to perform because there's no higher level. When you're in high school and then you go to rookie ball or A ball, you're constantly moving up, and people are, there's constantly a level above that you can go up and challenge you, and then when you succeed, there's no higher level than this. So what happens is teams and pitchers, they see him much more frequently, especially in our division. There's no secrets. I mean, with all the data and the analysis nowadays, there's no secrets on what the best pitches to get guys out are. So I think you're seeing him having to adjust to the major league environment. And lately he's done a nice job of it.
Okay.
How do you balance Annabelle?
Want me to bring it out?
And he's obviously been terrific over his last 8, but then the home runs are still there, 21 being a career high for him. I don't want to use the word concern necessarily, but
That's all right. I'll leave it in the fridge for you.
Nelson Cruz has kind of got his number, period. He had his number before today. And there's going to be those hitters for every pitcher that they just have trouble getting out. I can't explain the home runs, especially if you look at last year, previous years. But the important thing is he got the win.
Kinzo's been on a tear lately. How important is his resurgence been for the lineup, and how important can he be moving forward?
Well, when you have guys at the top of the lineup that are getting on base or producing runs, and generally hitting up in the lineup to get 4 or 5 at-bats a game, it becomes invaluable. So he and Nick both in the last month have swung the bat quite well.
Right, how much, especially given what Cruz has done the last couple of games, how much does Cruz's presence right ahead of Cano kind of force you into some decisions with how to use your bullpen?
Well, I mean, it did early in the game today. We had Kroll up and Wilson in case I had to use Kroll for Seager and then Wilson for Cruz, and then we would have had to use Hardy behind him. So we would have had to burn, 3 pitchers in the span of 3 hitters, if the situation was dire enough that it called for it. So he does make a difference. There was no base open. I don't want to keep adding. When you have a lead, you don't want to keep adding runs. That's kind of baseball 101. You don't want to keep putting runners on base. Early in the game, walking him before his first home run. Yeah. No. If you walk people, you're giving them more scoring opportunities. and you're walking him in front of a pretty good hitter, Robinson Cano. He hasn't had a Robinson Cano in like a year, but he's been swinging the bat pretty well lately. So I don't want to add fuel to the fire by putting base runners on in front of good hitters. I just don't think that's a smart move, and in the long run, it'll cost you.
Brad, I know every game's must win from here on out, just based where you guys are at the standings. But do you view these games as more important based on that deadline?
There's certainly some added importance, I think. I don't really dwell on it because I take the approach that you just mentioned is every game is a must-win. So I look at tomorrow as must-win, whether the deadline is in front of us or behind us.
Right, we talked about Wilson a lot, how valuable his innings are. What makes him effective, I guess, appealing in single batter matchups like Cruz?
Well, I don't know that ideally he's a single batter matchup pitcher, but I felt like tonight we had to get Cruz out, and he was our best option.
I guess, what is it about the stuff that you see?
Well, I think he's particularly tough on righties with the cutter and slider. And he does throw 92, 94 miles an hour, so he's got a little velocity behind it. But the cutter's his main pitch, and his slider's a good backup, a little bit more off speed than his cutter, a little bit more depth than his cutter. So I think he can be particularly tough on right-handed hitters.
So when you alluded to Alex Wilson earlier today about potentially being a spotter down the road, you weren't talking about this year at all?
I mean, somebody asked me about it. I didn't bring this up.
Right.
I said, someone asked me if Alex Wilson was an option to start. I said it was discussed, but then we're not doing it right now. You're reading something into. There's nothing there to read into.
Okay.
All right, Alex Wilson is not starting in Boston. It's been discussed, but we're not doing it. He's been very successful in the role he's been, and I know when someone has success, people want to move him. But maybe part of the reason he has success is because he's being used properly.